Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Hi, I'm 23 female. I am a single child and grew up with a lot of cousins on my dad's side, so I never felt the lack of siblings. My cousins and their families are very rich, but my family and I are not well off, but comfortable for ourselves. I have a cousin named Monica, 27 female. She and I were the closest growing up. She was always the spoiled brat, but was a very sweet person. However, post-college, she changed a lot and became very rude and class-conscious. She would make friends with rich and connected people on purpose and then make fun of our normal friends. Nevertheless, she would never spend her own money. She, to date, spends her parents' money or lives off her rich friends. 3 months ago, for her birthday, she held a party at her apartment for the cousins. It was a pretty chill one, although she made sure that everyone knew that she was the center of attention. Some people got a bit annoyed by it, but I didn't say anything. The next day on the family group chat, she thanked all of us for coming over and said she had a great time. Then she said, "Thank you for all your gifts, even your broke ones," inserts my name. I was shocked. I had gifted her a batch of cookies that I made and a small bottle of perfume. I was so worried, thinking that they had broken, and immediately called her. Monica picked, and when I asked her if the gifts were broken, she gave the most high-pitched insulting laugh I have ever heard. She then explained to me that when she said broke, that she meant cheap. Apparently, she had Googled the price of the perfume bottle, and apparently, with the cheap-ass homemade cookies, it won't be more than $80. I was so hurt. Yes, the gift was not expensive, but it was given with a lot of love and thought. I spent 3 days figuring out the exact perfume notes she would like and everything. When I told her this, she said, this is what cheap people do. The others got me such expensive gifts like jewelry." She went on listing all the gifts and their prices. I was pretty disgusted that she would actually Google prices of all their gifts and try to make me feel miserable. When I told her that she was being very insensitive to me and my financial condition, she started laughing. I cut the call while she was still laughing. I told my parents about this while crying, and they asked me to take a break from her. 2 weeks ago, I got a call from Monica. I didn't want to pick it up, but I was like, whatever. I picked up and she talked to me like nothing happened. She called me to inform me, not ask, that she wanted me to cater for her office party. I had just started a small catering business, for which she never congratulated me or wished me well. She wanted me to do the catering for half price, as she was the finance head and was looking to cut costs. To be honest, I was not surprised, but I immediately refused and told her that I won't be doing that. She got mad and said, "Oh, so you are willing to gift people cheap stuff, but won't give discounts? What double standards?" I told her that I was not guilty for not cutting costs because I was just starting off and couldn't afford massive discounts like that already. She said that if I went on like this, that my business was going to fail and that I won't get any new customers. When she said this, I got so mad and asked to shut the F up and cut the call. Am I the a-hole? Update. She went and told all my cousins how cheap I was but greedy to make profits. My cousins obviously defended me. That pissed her off even more. She then sent me a long message saying how I was a B for turning the entire family against her, and I was like, go to hell. You're not the a-hole, OP, your cousin is, and I'm glad everyone in your family sees that she's an a-hole too. She's an a-hole for laughing at the present you gave her for her birthday because they were cheap. The concept of gifting isn't to give the most expensive thing. Being thoughtful with the gifts count too, and you were thoughtful with the gift you gave her. She should have appreciated it like a normal person would. You had every right to say no to catering the party for half the price. I don't understand why she thought you would say yes to her proposal. Follow your parents' advice. Definitely take a good long break from her. Story 2. I take the train a few times a week and I have to work while I do, and the nature of my work is I'm constantly taking papers in and out of an awkwardly shaped case. Because of this, I always spring for 2 seats. otherwise I'm either blocking the aisle or crinkling my papers trying to get them out from between my knees, or standing up literally every 60 seconds to get the bag from the overhead compartment and exchange papers. I was boarding the train and I sat and put my bag beside me, and a woman approached me with a very young child, 4-ish, and asked if I would switch seats to one few rows up so her and her daughter could sit together. I told her I was sorry, but I had to stay where I was because I was all set up for work. She said, "I hate to pull this card, but it's a full train, and you really can't take up a seat with your bag." I explained the situation and that I had 2 tickets. She said, "I need to sit with my daughter. You don't need to have your bag right beside you." And I reiterated, "Yes, but I've paid for this ticket." And she said, "Well, you can return it." By this point, we were holding up for traffic and a conductor asked what was going on, and she said I wouldn't move my bag. And the conductor told me to move my bag, saying it was a full train. I showed her my 2 tickets. She said, "This woman and her kid need to sit together. Are you really going to die on this hill?" And I basically said, "There is no hill to die on. I have 2 tickets." Alright, so up to this point I think I'm clearly in the right, but half an hour later, the mother and daughter passed me again. At the time I thought they were going to the bathroom. It didn't occur to me in all that time they wouldn't have found a seat. 45 minutes later, we came to their stop and I realized they had never found 2 seats together. So now I really feel like a prick. Technically I was in the right, but morally I don't think I was. I don't know which should win out, the technical or the moral. So be blunt. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole, OP. Were you right? Yes. Were you the a-hole? Absolutely yes. I guarantee you that for the rest of the day, almost every person who witnessed your interaction made comments about that a-hole they saw on the train this morning. I guarantee you that at least one person used your behavior as justification for why they just hate people sometimes. I believe you didn't mean to be an ass, so take this as a learning situation. And stop buying a second ticket for your bag on a train that obviously fills up. Now for some comments. You're the a-hole. In Germany, you can buy all the tickets for seats you want. But if after 15 minutes no human sits in the reserved seats, they lose the reservation and are free for all. So here this wouldn't be possible and nobody cares if you bought a ticket for your bag. It is a dick move not to move your bag in a full train. You're the a-hole. Yes, you did buy 2 tickets and, technically, you were entitled to 2 seats. But just because we are entitled to something doesn't necessarily mean we never make concessions for others. By refusing to make a concession for a mother and a child on a crowded train, you became the a-hole. An a-hole who had every right to 2 seats but didn't show compassion to a mother with a little kid. No a-holes here. You bought 2 tickets, you got 2 seats. If she wanted to sit with a daughter, she should have bought 2 tickets together. I see a lot of comments saying that the reservations are meaningless and that doesn't make any sense to me. You had a problem with your awkward bag and you did what you had to do to solve it. Also, she asked you to completely get up and move everything. That's asking a lot in my opinion, especially since you bought the tickets for the seat. Lastly, no one else gave up their seats, so it's not like you can be pointed out as the only person that wouldn't move. I get that morally it would have been nice of you to move for them, but I think if you have the tickets to the seat, it's your seat and that's that. Story 3. I, 34 male, had a child 10 years ago, Nova, 10. I was a terrible person back then. I didn't stay in her life and I deeply regret it. A few months ago, I contacted her mom to see if I could see my child. She happily agreed to co-parent with me and seemed relieved, which was understandable considering she had 4 other kids, all younger than Nova. Nova was a bit distant at first, but now we're doing better. She is generally a very good kid, but something I realized about her is that no punishment seems to work on her, and also she can be very disrespectful at times. If I tell her to do something as a punishment, she won't do it, or if I ground her, she will just leave without my permission. I asked her mom how she punished her, and she said she had never punished her before. What I've heard from Nova, it seemed like she would just cuss her out and yell at her, which I don't think are good punishments for a kid. 2 nights ago, Nova asked me if she could live with me from now on. I told her I would love it, but she could live with me with one condition. She has to follow my rules and be respectful. She didn't say anything after that. After she went back to her mom's home, my mom, who was there when Nova asked me this, told me I was an a-hole because if a kid is asking her deadbeat dad to take her in, there must be something very wrong, so you don't make conditions for her, you just say yes and take her in. Was I wrong to have this condition? I can't be a parent if she doesn't listen to me, but now both my mom and daughter refuse to talk to me. Her mom will likely have no problem with this, she seems too busy with her other kids. And I think she would like being the weekends fun parent, so that's not a problem. Edit. I took Nova out for an ice cream and asked her why she wanted to live with me. She said, I do not want to live with you anymore. You're just gonna send me back anyway. I apologized to her and told her that I would never send her back and I would be very happy if she lived with me. I just want to know the reason. After talking for a while, she said, I just want to sleep. It turns out that after she started coming to my home, her mom gave her bedroom to her younger sisters. One of them is a baby, and they cry all night and keep her awake. I told her I would talk to her mom and she would stay with me from now on, and that we are gonna have some rules and I expect her to follow them, but even if she doesn't, I will still love her and I won't leave her again. She said she's gonna try, but she won't promise because annoying me is very fun. I called her mom, and as I expected, she has no problem with this and is willing to let her live with me. Now for some comments. No a-holes here because I understand where you were trying to come from. You listened to your mother's very valid point, and you then did what needed to be done. I'm glad you realized your love for your daughter can't be conditional, but I definitely agree discipline is necessary and healthy as well. She just should never feel like she's in danger of losing a home. I'm gonna keep this short. You effed up for 10 years straight. I think your daughter is allowed to annoy you for a bit and make things not too easy for you here and there. Every relationship is built on trust, which you two are still developing, and being a parent is also a constant struggle of being strict in the right instances, but forgiving at any time. Yes, she will make mistakes like you did when you left, and with time you'll find the right triggers. Not the a-hole. You have to have rules because kids have to have order in their lives. A kid that grows up with the only discipline being the parent yelling and cursing at them will then do the same to others. You want to establish rules because you are now a responsible parent and you understand that a 10-year-old does not exactly reason well. She seems to be purely practical in her reasoning, but that is demonstrative of her not exactly being well cared for at home. So she will stay with her dad, who she has just gotten to know. Unlike what some people are insinuating in the comments here, having rules is not conditional love. It is teaching the kid to be responsible. She clearly already has an attitude because there are no rules in her life. She needs those rules as much as she needs your love and affection. And if you don't make her behave, then you are a bad parent. No different than if you loved her conditionally.